But it is possible that your distributor could be the cause of all of your performance problems on your car. And you need to check it and make sure that everything is working properly in order to be able to tune your car up. So let's look at this distributor right here. This came out of a Ford. How does this work? Well, it slides down into the engine, centers down right here on this O-ring to keep it from wobbling around, and then there is a clamp that looks like this that holds it down. That's what you have to loosen and remove to get the distributor out, but you also have to loosen it just to adjust the distributor. This gear right here actually runs off your camshaft, and then on the end of this on a Ford, there's a shaft down in here that goes on down into your oil pump, so when the distributor turns, your oil pump turns. This is kind of a problem on some of them, and here's a good tip on this. This is an octagonal, let me get it straight, shaft. And when you drop this down in, that thing tends to do this in its hole because it doesn't center up very easily. So what I do is I take a long screwdriver, like this rascal right here, if I pull it out, and I put a little grease on the end of it, and I reach down in there and I keep poking it around that shaft until it's centered up and doesn't want to move. Then when you drop it in, if it doesn't go all the way down and stop on this ledge right here, you know it's not in here. So what you have to do is take a long screwdriver and kind of move it or twist it slightly until it'll finally center up. I had one guy told me he tried for 2 days and never could get it to work, and so I think he kind of ran out of patience. But that is a problem, and it's kind of hard to do, and you want to make sure that you get it done so that your distributor is turning your oil pump and you don't try to start it and run it without oil pressure. Now, back to what we were talking about. This part of these distributors wear out. So I'm going to give you a brief description of how they work, but also I'm going to tell you right up front that these really need to be replaced. They're kind of old and out of date. A points and condenser distributor is really not something you want to be running on your car. These points wear out. You have to replace them a couple times a year when you're driving the car regularly. They can cause performance problems. There's just all kinds of things that go wrong. But if you want to keep it, then here's some things you need to check. Number one, you need to check this center shaft like this and wiggle it. And I can't really demonstrate that very well because it moves very little, but I can feel play in this shaft right here when I wiggle like this. So that means that every time this shaft turns around, it's going to open the points a different gap, different width. And that's going to make it have some performance issue. The other thing you want to check is you want to make sure that the points right here, when you open them up, are not worn out right there. See that little contact spot between here and here? They tend to burn and they tend to wear out very quickly, and when they do, the car will not run well. Secondly, if the car doesn't run, this is the first place I run to get it fixed, is to check this to make sure that the points are opened up. On a V8 like this, you want them to be gapped at 14 thousandths with your feeler gauge, which means that when you push this shaft around like this and open the points, and you can see there's a hump on this in 8 different places. So let's see if we can show that right there where there's a little spot, and that pushes these points open, and when it does, it needs to push it open to 14 thousandths. But when they wear, sometimes they start tending to close up, and eventually your car won't start. And every time you adjust the points, it affects the timing. So you have to go back and do all that stuff. And when you go to an electronic distributor, you don't have to do any of this stuff. But check your points. Make sure that the shaft's not worn out. If it is, just throw the distributor away, get another one. Then if all that's good, then the breaker plate right here that the vacuum advanced pulls, we've got bells ringing in the background. Okay, when the vacuum plate right here rotates like this to advance the timing, and this vacuum module here that hooks up to the vacuum on the engine, when you step on the gas, it moves this and adjusts the timing on the car to make the car run better as you're under acceleration. If this plate's worn, it'll be worn right on this pivot right here. So as it rotates around this pivot, it'll tend to, instead of rotate, it'll move back and forth, and there again, that will affect the points. Last but not least, make sure that this ground terminal is hooked up or it won't start. You won't get any fire. So basically, I'm showing you how to look at an old worn out distributor and telling you that I'll probably replace it, put in a brand new, like an MSD is what we use most of the time around here. It works better. If you change out MSD, I see people all the time asking why their gears are all torn up. MSD has different gears for different engines, so you want to be sure when you buy it, you talk to somebody, go call MSD, and make sure they give you the part number for the correct gear for your engine on your car. Hey, I'm Barry Wilson with Wilson Auto Repair. If you like this, and we're trying to help you understand your car, if you like it, subscribe to our site on YouTube. Thank you.